stream coming back up now. Stream moving. Okay, we're all systems go here at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit for round 2 of the CSM Track Club ACC Championship powered by Turn 1. Interestingly enough, our pole sitter Wilhelm Weyrich is currently second to Dominic Oliveira today for qualifying with 3.5 minutes left to go. Running on board here with the Turn 1 driver in the Continental on the run through Clubhouse Bend before switching back through the S's. The number 13 Continental of Weyrich lining up through on the corner, away, losing all of the exit, getting right up against the wall before starting another flying lap. And Patterson's pipped him for P2. So we've got Vinci Boys making a bold statement here today in the Huracan GT3. Oliver followed by Patterson in the Huracan GT3 today at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. Very, very top effort from the two of them today. Patterson's going to be a dark horse in the race later. He's been very quiet during free practice 2. Oliver running in P3 slot about 15 minutes ago, but finding the pace, opening up the taps here in qualifying. A bit of traffic ahead. Looks like Ryan Hunt. On board with Dominic Oliveira now. Picking up a nice handy toe as well. And he backs out of it. Oliver seems to be comfortable with his run so far. 1.5 minutes left of Ollie to run. Still have both drivers from Apex Fever, Gonzalez and Corbin in the pit. We'll be looking for another trip around before the timer stops. There's Lamborghini from Bentley from the lone Mercedes today of Khalil Boudou. Khalil in the number 6 Mercedes looking nice and tidy. He's had a strong showing last weekend at Nürburgring before having a spin and dropping down the order, so he'll be looking to improve on that performance today. It's followed by one of the front yard racing pair of Jamal Boudou in the Vantage GT3. And Svensson in the number 15 Bentley has been also one of the Turn 1 Pro-Am drivers that's been quiet during pre-practice 2. Currently running in 8th behind the Apex Fever cars. Comfortable position for him going into Turn 1 at Crowthorne. This is him making his way into the left and switching right back through the S's. These curves don't look particularly high to you. Oh, he seems to have run wide, and he's probably making his way back to the pits by now. These curves here at Kyalami are seemingly deceptive, but they have a ridge down the center of them. You don't want to be riding the curb on entry. Cars will be bottoming out, and it will launch the car wide, particularly the sausage curb on the entry to the second to last corner at Cheetah. The exit of that corner does not have any runoff, and the stewards will be looking for track limit penalties here today. So drivers will be wanting to watch out for that. Another key corner that will be catching people out as they're looking to stretch the tires later on in the stint is look up the downhill braking zone. Will be forcing drivers to watch their brake balance going into that corner as they don't want to under rotate the front left and take some tire life out of their front tires. That is the end of qualifying. We've got the Vinci Boys pair of Oliver and Patterson in the sister Hurricane GT3s on front row, followed by Berg and Sandberg, who were on the front row last time in Nürburgring. So the St. Vincent pair of Oliver and Patterson have stretched their legs over turn one here today. We've got Khalil Boudou fifth, and then the Apex Fever drivers of Gonzalez and Corbin in sixth and seventh. That was a stellar time from Dominic Oliver of the 140.5, completing that time about halfway through the qualifying session as well, and he's not been back out for a competitive run since, so he's very, very comfortable. If you remember, Oliver had a spin going through the chicane at the last event in Nürburgring last week. We'll be looking to have a tidy run through today. We're joined by some new names here today as well, of Simon Capelli from Italy in the M6 GT3. We've also got Kurt Linton joining us here today. He missed last event, but he's here along with Kevin John Manning in the lone Audi R8 LMS, down in 14th spot. The lack of running from Derek Rudder and Ryan Hunt during practice, but they're out on the grid in 15th and 16th as well. So the Boudou pair of Jamal and Omar running down in 9th and 10th, a bit out of position from them normally, but they are very, very good on tyres later on in the stint, so they'll be looking to capitalize on some free air when the front runners pit, looking to perform the overcut on the guys up ahead. Khalil Boudou was very strong on the start last weekend in Nürburgring, but he is 5th on the grid today rather than being on the second row. So watch out for turn one pro drivers looking to get the jump on the Vinci team here today on the run down into Crowthorne. A bit of side drafting coming off from the wall on the way down the start finish straight, and it's quite wide into turn one. It's first gear corner for everyone, so 3 into 1 does not necessarily work. So everyone will be looking to get track position before making the way through sweep and barbecue. We had a change of livery today. You realize the Apex Fever drivers from Barbados are running a blue and yellow livery M6 GT3 as opposed to red and yellow from last weekend. Paying homage to their Barbadian roots. Looking to see some good times from them later on today. So sessions will be started in 2 minutes. They'll be performing a formation lap and then onto a rolling start in these GT3 cars. So 1 hour race format today with a mandatory pit stop. Pit window will open about 25 minutes into the race, and the window will open for about 10-12 minutes or so. Everyone just making their final settings before the formation lap on the roll-up. This is the first time the St. Vincent pair will be on the front row. I imagine first time leading a race in the formation lap. So they'll be coming out of Cheetah before they bunch up nice and tight before making their run through Ingve onto the start-finish straight and then into Kink. Expect to see drivers like Svensson, Boudou and Capelli breaking formation, going through Kink to try and get a run on the guys up front. This is going to be very exciting. First time running on Kyalami circuit for a lot of these drivers as well. So everything is open for some upsets. 45 seconds from the outlaw. As reminded by my fellow compatriot Brian in the commentary box, we've got Robert Simmons as a steward here today, looking out for blue flag penalties, speeding in the pit lane, and track limit warnings. Driver etiquette has been very well so far today. Everyone giving each other room, and this is boding well for a nice afternoon run through a Kyalami circuit. There's no weather in the area, but anything can happen on this circuit. Engines are started 10 seconds before we roll off for the formation lap. BMW struggled last time with tyres, and not until after the pit stop window did they start to find some pace before taking the fight back to the front runners. One change to the championship as well, there's now a point awarded for pole position, so Dominic Linton has just picked up 1 point for that in round 2. And there's also a point for fastest lap, so people looking to conserve their tyres later on in the end. That keeps the championship open for some of the drivers who are a bit further down the field, keep the championship alive. Interesting to see what team tactics play out between Turn 1, Apex, and Vinci. Take a note of those yellow sausage curbs on the inside of Sleek. There's also another one down at Cheetah. Don't want to ride any of those curbs, particularly as it unsettles the car and it can send you on the outside into the barriers. It's single file here going through Sunset. That corner will be very difficult to overtake, but it's a prime setup for a dive into Clubhouse Bend. Charlie Martin was having a strong run last weekend in the Turn 1 Pro-Am 21 Continental GT3, in green-coloured Bentley down in 12th position. She'll be looking to make her way up through the field. She's also, as you remember, one of the drivers on the grid who recently completed the Nürburgring 24, making the jump back to sim racing, so good to see her out indeed. Very mean-looking livery there from Kurt Linton in the black Huracan GT3, and Kevin John Manning in the Manning Motorsport lone Audi R8. Struggling with some grip earlier on with Kevin on the exit of Clubhouse and Barbecue. Lovely shot coming down through Mineshaft before the braking for Crocodile. A couple of first gear corners here today, Crowthorne, Crocodile, and Lookup. You can see the marbles on the outside of that one. Oliver just beginning to bring the group back together for the start of this race. Notice that sausage curb on the on the entry of Cheetah with no runoff. You can see some tire marks there already, as some have gone off. So this is the start of ACC Round 2 at Kyalami Circuit, brought to you by Turn 1. Very, very, very wide there by Patterson. Careful not to break formation.
Green light, go, go, go.
Wonder if Patterson had made a jump there. Also to have to control the start. He's looking to get a jump on Oliver, and there's 3 wide back at on row 3 going into Crowthorne. It's first gear corner, remember? 3 into 1. It's very, very, very tight indeed. And Gonzalez pushes wide on the outside to block from one of the Turn 1 drivers there. And we've got spins. Wilhelm and Voodoo have come together on the entry to Barbecue. We've been very, very disappointed with that. That's 2 races in a row that Wilhelm has been taken out on the opening lap. And we've got Oliver from Sandberg up the inside of Clubhouse Bend. Oliver having to go the long way around, and he slots in behind Sandberg up front. Oscar Sandberg was our race winner from last time and also fastest lap from Nürburgring Grand Prix, making the run through the S's into, I believe this is Low Cup. This is Clubhouse Pen on the way down to Crocodile now, the inside first gear corner, switching back down into Cheetah. Front two have already stretched their legs on Patterson. Patterson is in prime position to take that fight back to the others by just buying his time, his entire life out over the next 20 minutes. So as a first lap through Kyalami, Voodoo has made a storming start up to the field, up to 4th after starting 9th on the grid. Apex Fever guys have dropped way down the order, with Corbin in 13th and Gonzalez in 15th. Very disappointing start from them. And Kevin John Manning is one that's in loads of positions. He's up to 7th now in the lone ODR8. Mid-engine cars seem to be working quite well on this circuit, with all the direction change and elevation change as well. Simon Capelli just going up the inside of, getting very, very tight. And we've got a spin there from Kurt Linton as well. Very, very eventful start here at Kyalami circuit. Doesn't look to be any damage, so as long as he hasn't flat spotted those tyres, he can get running again. Back on board with front pair of Sandberg and Oliver, bouncing over the exit curb there. And Sandberg goes wide. Oliver has seen its chances come back to him now on the exit of Low Cup, going down through Mineshaft. Remember that downhill braking down into Low Cup will catch people out as the fuel starts to burn off. Lovely rotation through Crocodile on the way through Cheetah. These Bentleys have been quick in a straight line from last weekend, as you remember, at Nürburgring. On board here with Jelani Patterson, teammate Dominic Linton, who is ahead in second place. He is right on the tail of Sandberg and in the tow as well. Benson has made up positions up to 4th, Voodoo dropping a place down to 5th. Oliver hot on his heels now. The Huracan seems to be very, very quick through sector 1 and 2. Down 1 gear through Barbecue, climbing over the crest into Sunset. Sunset is a very, very difficult corner. You need to get your braking zone and your entry point right, otherwise you run wide onto the marbles. Little bit of mid-corner wake from the car in front will unsettle him slightly before he settled again for Clubhouse Bend. Little bit snap up oversteer from Sandberg up ahead. These two are duking it out at the sharp end. I suspect this battle will go on for more than 20 minutes. In the 762 car of Omar Boudou, running comfortably in 5th from Front Yard Racing. Jamal and Omar running from Barbados, the silver ranked drivers. Khalil Boudou is wide on the exit of Clubhouse. He seems to have had a problem. Byrick is making his way back up to the field. He's all over the back of Aldo. He's disregard to Omar. So no blue flags yet, so this is for position. He has a glance forcing Boudou to go defensive, compromising his exit out of Crocodile. Coming over the crest, has another glance. Byrick is driving like a man possessed here today. Watch the straight line difference between the Aston and the Bentley on the run down through Kink into Crowthorne. No DRS, remember, in these GT3 cars, but it's all to do with track position and driving talent. And we've got one of the Apex boys making a move on Charlie Martin, but Charlie Martin's having none of it. Closes the door on Chris Corbin. Chris Corbin working the wheel. white card here going through barbecue. He's got a storming exit alongside. Will he make the move before sunset? He has to drop a gear. Very, very, very tidy through there from the two of them. And side by side through Clubhouse, giving each other plenty of racing room there. That is very good to see the two of them. Charlie Martin taking a flight back to Chris Corbin, turn 1 Pro-Am driver. Making the climb into Dunfer Low-Cut. Has another sniff at a position there, but he's tentative and slots back in behind. His Bentleys just seem to have incredible straight line speed. Chris Corbin going later apex to switch it back on the exit of Crocodile. Very exciting race here today so far. We've got a 5-second penalty for Svensson, it seems. More update on that as the race progresses. He's running comfortably in 4th. The good gap between Vinci, team, and front yard behind. So a good performance so far from Svensson. Front 2 are separated by less than a second here today. Let's have another second between the front 2 of Oliver and Sandberg. Oliver doesn't want to get his tyres ruined before the pit stop, and it's only 8 minutes into this race so far. You see he's dropped back slightly just to keep the pressure on. 41.2 from Oscar Sandberg. You see the turn 1 pro drivers of Sandberg and Weirich are running with headlights on. I wonder if that is best preference by the team. Jelani Patterson also running in the 41s as well. His first time out in the ACC Championship here, powered by Turn 1. Weirich's now up to 6th. He's made it past one of the front yard drivers and he's chasing down Omar Boudou in the 762 Vantage GT3. There seems to be some connectivity issues across the grid, so drivers are having to battle with some lagging issues, as well as us here in the commentary box. But we're working on it to get it sorted for you. And the run into Crowthorne, Oliver's closed up a little bit to that gap again. Sideways through the exit of Barbecue, Oliver has a sniff. He's having to go the long way around. He'll be forced to be on the marble, so he slots back in behind him. Sandberg having to be very defensive now through Clubhouse. Lots of correction there from Sandberg. Oliver need not get impatient because he is in a prime position to take the flight back to turn 1 after his bad event last weekend at Nürburgring with a spin. He'll be looking to take some points off the turn 1 drivers here today. He's already got 1 point, remember, from pole position. Run down through Mineshaft into Crocodile now. See much different lines between the two cars, one being a mid-engine layout, the other one being a front-engine layout, and that has a significant effect on the dynamic across this circuit. Lots of elevation change here at Kyalami as well. And it is nose to tail, nothing separating them. Jelani Patterson keeping up with them so far, dropping back slightly to a 42.4 on that last circuit round. 3/10 ahead on that last lap on Omar Boudou. Weirich is also in the 41s as well, trying to take the fight back to front yard racing. Unfortunate start for Vyrick today, as he is known for making lightning starts on the rolling start on every circuit he's driven. Charlie Martin holding off Chris Corbin, and it's allowed his teammate Jeremy Gonzalez to make some ground on the two of them as well. You've got blue flags waving. I wonder if that is for Khalil Boudou. Seems like Khalil Boudou has already lost a lap so far, so we will see some flashing lights now as Charlie Martin makes her way onto the back of him. Although Khalil Boudou is a lap down, he is on the pace with the leaders, so although this isn't for position, it will be coming in the way of Charlie Martin trying to defend from the apex pair behind. Bit of an awkward one. Jeremy Gonzalez running in the 43s at the moment, way off the pace from the apex car today. Just letting Chris Corbin through. Team orders there playing out. Gonzalez unleashes Chris Corbin to go after Charlie Martin again, followed by the Audi of Kevin John Manning. Another Barbadian driver here today, featuring some blue and yellow roots on the livery of his car. Uncharacteristic understeer on the exit of the final corner from the Audi here today. Maybe he's had some setup issues. He's currently on a faster pace than Jeremy Gonzalez up ahead, so this will be an interesting battle to watch between the Barbadian pair. And he goes deep on Crowthorne. Simon Capelli, first outing here, the Italian driver in the M6 pink livery car. Good to have some drivers across the globe joining us here at CSM Track Club. Late entry by Kurt Linton, followed by Derek Rudder in the 911 GT3 car. Getting some experience in front driver. Khalil Boudou running out of position, but on pace. Showing a 1:48 on the last lap from him, so not sure what happened there. And Ryan Hunt is in the pits in the Huracan GT3. Maybe he's got a problem. Hopefully he's not a retiree of this event and he can get the car back out. And again, the pair of Oliver and Sandberg are beginning to stretch their legs over Patterson behind, but nothing separating the two of them here today. 0.2 of a second separating the two of them over the start-finish line on that run through the circuit. Just having to back out a bit slightly. Sandberg playing a very, very tactical game here by just hanging on the apex of the corner to break the toe before getting back on the power. Many opportunities for overtaking spots, but these two are so evenly matched in cars that are so different in setup. There's nothing between these two drivers here today. See flashing yellows on the race marker. Seem to have gone now, so maybe someone had a spin further down the circuit. So it's Sandberg from Oliver on the run into Crocodile. Pair just slipping back into the 42s slightly. Oliver with a 42 dead on that last lap. Best of a 41.0. Remember, the pole time here today is 40.5. So with full fuel and harder tires to last the distance, obviously the lap times are going to start to drop again. And a 41.7 from Oliver that time through. Svensson with a 5-second penalty. And it seems that Vyrick has made it past Boudou and is up to 5th. We'll be chasing it down in 4th. best lap of a 41.3, so not quite on pace for fastest lap so far, but it's still a long race ahead yet. Running here with Omar Boudou now 45.6 on the last lap, so maybe he ran wide or had a spin somewhere. And then Jamal Boudou in the 44. So tyres seeming to beginning to drop off a bit and times beginning to get a bit slower. And one of the Apex cars has made it past Charlie Martin, and it's Gonzalez. So the Apex team drivers have swapped again. Charlie Martin looking at the inside, forces Gonzalez wide, and they touch. Charlie goes very defensive on Chris Corbin there. Hard racing between these three. And it is a turn 1 pro sandwich between the Apex drivers of Gonzalez and Corbin here today. Watch out for these BMW drivers to make a jump after the pit stop. Same thing happened last weekend at Nürburgring, where the cars seemed to come alive on a different tyre with half fuel load. Bumped in over the curve, and with Khalil Boudou on the exit of that last corner. Khalil Boudou's had a spin. I wonder if he'll be making his way back to the pits. Surely he's flat spotted those tyres as Simon Capelli goes by. And he's rejoined the circuit safely. Apex drivers running in the 44s at the moment. Charlie Martin dropping off the pace slightly into the 45.6s now. Chris Corbin looking for a way path going through Sunset. Not close enough to make a dive through that corner. Very high speed corner as well with marbles on the outside. Making the way through the S's before the run over the crest into Look-Up. A bit squirrely coming off the final corner there from Sandberg. Both these drivers running back in the 41s. You can see Olivier in the mirrors getting very, very close indeed in the braking. Drivers are experiencing some minor server issues, and it seems that Vivek has made it past Svensson. Vivek back up to 4th now, after having that spin on the opening lap. Still not quite on the pace of the front pair, but looking to take the fight back to them. And Svensson closely behind. Remember, he has a 5-second penalty to be served, so that may put him behind the Boudou pair from Front Yard Racing. Looking very composed. I wonder if he's just eking the time out, conserving his tyres. Very aggressive over that double-sided curb there. Lonnie Patterson keeping the front pair honest, running in the low 42s. 6 tenths between the opening, between the front pair, and then 7 seconds back to Patterson to have a convincing lead over Vivek in 4th. And Sandberg goes wide. I wonder if he got tied up on the back of Rudder coming into the pits. Hopefully not a blue flag issued there. The stewards will be looking at that closely, but Sandberg has been passed by Olivier today. It'll be interesting to see if Olivier makes a break for it now in open air. These Bentleys again are very quick in a straight line. Making the switch through sweep on the way into barbecue, dropping 1 gear back on the power, nice and tidy, take all of the exit, making some great balance changes on the wheel, as you can see. Bentley seems to handle that fast corner of Sunset better than the mid-engine cars. Little bit of hesitancy there on the entry to the S's and the run down into low cut now. Little bit to remember. This corner doesn't seem to be catching people out as predicted during practice. A heater corner coming up after Crocodile with the yellow sausage curve on the inside. So it is Oliver from Sandberg, mid-engine from front engine. Everything to play for here between Vinci Boys and Turn 1 Pro. Jelani Patterson in third, followed by Vyrick and then Svensson. "37 minutes left to go of this race. Pit lane will soon be open for pit stops. Right, with a 41.4 on that last lap, a 10th off his best, so he's beginning to find some more pace. Pit fight back to Jelani Patterson in third. And Svensson, the Norwegian driver, running comfortably in fifth at the moment, pulling a gap out on the Boudou pair in the Aston Martin Vantage. Charlie Martin trying to hold off Chris Corbin. She's gotten back past the Apex pair as well. So a very, very tight battle between these three drivers here. Kevin John Manning has dropped off the back of that battle for 10th. The point system gives points awarded through all 20 places, as opposed to the Formula 1 system with the point system stopping after 10th position. So everyone here will be scoring points with a nice even spread. Gonzalez just falling off the back of Corbin slightly. The body language of these three cars suggests that they're not quite comfortable with the setup. They might be making some setup changes when pit lane opens. Look for the Apex pair to split their strategy, with one coming in early in the pit stop window, then give feedback to the sister car. Charlie Martin goes wide on the exit of Lookup. And Chris Corbin goes down the inside through Mineshaft, braking for Crocodile. It's a dogfight between these three here today at Kyalami Circuit, powered by Turn 1. A bit of understeer on the exit of Invet onto the start finish line. Some communication issues at the moment with the server, but we were getting it sorted between Brian and myself. Nice and tight through Crowthorne. Charlie Martin running a bit wide there. Seem to have some technical difficulties with the stream, so we'll be getting it back up shortly for you listeners there watching. Stay tuned. And we're live again. Chris Corbin has opened up a gap over Charlie Martin now, who's fallen into the clutches of Gonzalez. Gonzalez now into the 42s now. He's found some pace. So these BMW cars seem to work better when they're on a lighter fuel load later in the race. They'll be wanting to watch that before next weekend event. Gap of oversteer there on the exit of Lookup. Jeremy having to back off a bit there. Nice and tidy through Cheetah on the entry to Ingve. Bit of a lock-up there from Gonzalez. Gonzalez and Chris Corbin actually raced together back in Barbados in their Corsa rally car. So a good partnership between them, a good team understanding here at Apex Fever as well. And Gonzalez goes through. Charlie Martin gets a bit crossed up on the exit of Sweet. She's now conceded position to both Apex drivers now. The Sandbergers make it back pass through on Oliver. Again, we're having some technical difficulties with the server. Stay tuned. But it seems that Sandberg has made it back past Oliver with Patterson still in third. So turn one has taken over the lead of the race from Vinci Boys of Dominic Oliver and Jelani Patterson running in the Huracan GT3. Just bear with us as we'll be right back later with the updated stream. Okay, and we are live again. Brian working very, very hard in the commentary box to bring the stream to you here at this ACC Round 2 event powered by Turn 1. So Sandberg has retaken the lead from Dominic Oliver from St. Vincent. Both of them running in the high 41s, low 42s. It is now the halfway point. I'm not sure if the pit window has opened up yet. Oliver making some gain on Sandberg in the braking zone for final corner there. But Sandberg from Oliver with Patterson in third. Well, it doesn't seem to have followed up on Patterson just yet. Patterson's last lap being a 43.2, so maybe just backing off the pace. Warwick has Patterson up ahead in his sights, but may be running out of time to make the pass on track, so he'll be looking to make that pass using pit strategy. He has the option of pitting early to provoke the undercut on the Vinci driver. I suspect the turn one drivers, just like last weekend, will be looking to go long on this set of tyres and having a fresh set on the lighter fuel load for later in the race, also to get some bonus points for fastest lap. A bit of crossover from strategy will be happening there with the turn one drivers. Svensson running comfortably in fifth, again with that 5-second penalty, remember, that he will have to come in to serve.
Not over yet.
We've just passed the halfway point. We have Omar Boudou running in sixth, and the sister car of Jamal Boudou has dropped down. Actually, no, he is in the pits, so pit window seems to be open with Boudou, Manning, Linton coming in for their pit stops. They're just making it back out now. 2:38 on that last lap, but that is including the pit stop, remember. John Manning just starting his pit stop now, and we've got another car just coming in. That is Dominic Oliver taking an early pit stop, attempting the undercut on Sandberg. It'll be very interesting to see where he comes out and how long he has to go on this second set of tyres. Danny Patterson and Dylan Voigt coming in together as well. But there's no known pit stop delta here today, as some drivers will be looking to make some setup changes on the second set of tyres. So that promotes Svensson to second in open air. And Oliver just making his way out of the pits now. Looks like he's come out in fifth, just ahead of Dominic Gonzalez and Charlie Martin. Okay, Jeremy Gonzalez is in front now, so Dominic Oliver is rejoined in 6th place. Khalil Boudou just getting out of the way as he's a lap driver, obeying the blue flag. It's good to see some good camaraderie between the drivers here today. And the fight is on now between Oliver and Sandberg. Hopefully he doesn't get caught up in traffic. And Sandberg's coming in for his pit stop now. So Vinci forcing Sandberg to pit early. Sandberg has preferred to pit quite late in the pit stop window, as seen last weekend. So forcing turn one to go on the defensive there with strategy. So that will promote Svensson up to P1 as he's attempting to run even longer on his set of tyres. 27 minutes left to go. And we've got Omar Boudou coming in for Front Yard Racing on his pit stop. Bouncing over the curbs there, Chris Corbin on the run of Cheetah. Looks like he's made contact with that entry sausage curb. So both Apex drivers looking to stay out a bit longer. Oliver's last lap was a 47 on cold tyres, looking to bring some temperature back in. And he comes out just behind Sandberg. So Sandberg has made overcut work. Well, he's taken defense back to Oliver. The undercut not paying off, having to make his way through the lap drivers. So he's got to do all the work over again from a bit further back. Oliver and Sandberg running 4th and 5th out of position as they have pitted, and the guys up ahead haven't pitted just yet. But this is for position. Switching the left and then right through the S's. See the track beginning to rubber in nicely. Sandberg just making it past Gonzalez. That's one less car to worry about on the way down through Mineshaft. Khalil Boudou, although a lap down, looking very racy on the back of Oliver. When he goes heavy impact over the curb there from Sandberg and from Boudou as well. Surely that has cost Sandberg some time. And that allows Gonzalez to go back through. Oliver with a 43.0 on that last lap. First gear corner through Crowthorne on the switchback through Sweet. Oliver just capitalizing on Gonzalez holding up Sandberg through Barbecue. Bit of dirty air coming off from Gonzalez going through Sunset, and Gonzalez lets him through as this isn't technically for opposition, with Gonzalez running out of running order in 3rd, but yet to make a pit stop. getting out of the way for Oliver. Good sportsmanship between those two. Good battle between those two in the Dirt Rally Championship, also run by Caribbean Sim Motorsport. So Oliver up to 4th with Sandberg in 3rd. And Vyrick has gotten past Jelani Patterson for effective 3rd position. Wonder where that pass took place. And he's into the 41.2s after the pit stop with Jelani on a 43.0. So Vyrick currently fastest person on track at the moment. And potentially fastest lap so far. But another 23 minutes left of this race here today at Kyalami Circuit. Svensson running in the 42s, looking very comfortable on that first set of tyres. Still yet to take that 5-second penalty. So we'll be looking to take that 5-second penalty in the pit lane in the form of a stop-go. Corbin on the back of Kevin John Manning. This is not for position, as Manning is a lap down. Oh, and he bounces off the curb and runs into the side of Corbin. One of the stewards will be looking at that later in the briefing room. Manning just getting it a bit messy on the exit there. And Sandberg and Oliver are hot on the tail, both running in the low 41s. Oliver with a 41.0 best lap. Last lap of it, 41.4. Little bit of a correction through Crocodile there from Oliver, and that allows Sandberg to break away by a couple of tenths. There's nothing separating these two here today. Chris Corbin is coming in for his pit stop. First of the Apex pair to do so. German Gonzalez in the low 42s now. Those BMW cars seem to be coming alive now later in the race. I wonder if Jeremy will come into the pits on the end of this lap. So Jeremy Gonzalez last lap with a 2:42, so that suggests that he has pitted on the lap before. We will confirm. A very tense battle with Sandberg and Oliver as they run through the S's over the crest into Leo Cup. Lovely rotation from the Huracan there. Huracan seems to be a lot more planted through sector 2 and 3 compared to Sandberg in the Continental. Oliver opting to run in the Lamborghini this time, as he ran in the 911 in the last event at Nürburgring. He's closed up on the turn 1 driver again. You can see the Bentley just pulling some time out on the straight. And Dominic Oliver with the fastest lap of the race of 1:40.9, 4/10 off of his whole sitting time. And he looks for a dive up the inside through Cawthorne, and he's through. Very, very, very brave move there, and they're side by side, and they touch doors, and Sandberg's taking the fight back through. We want to see replay of that later at the end of the race. That was a heck of a move by Oliver. Very opportunistic on the brakes, going into Crowthorne, just popping out to the toe. The drivability of these cars and these drivers here today, they just seem to be oozing with confidence behind the wheel. Oliver is just lining him up for another pass later on. He's checking Sandberg's weaknesses and where the strengths of the Huracan lie in respect to the Bentley. Benson still running in first, yet to stop, and he's coming in for his pit stop now. Remember, Svensson has a 5-second penalty to serve. So that'll be interesting to see where that brings him out with respect to Weirick and Patterson. Again, Svensson has been running in clean air for most of the race in first place. So there's a technical infringement from Kevin John Manning, receiving a 5-second penalty for that collision with Chris Corbin for ignoring blue flags. And he's got a spin on the last corner from Kevin John Manning. Gets it wide and spins it on the marble, so not a very good day in the office for Kevin as Simon Capelli goes through for position. Riding on board with Simon Capelli now, the Italian driver. Best lap of a 44.1, currently running in a 45. So consistent running throughout this event from Simon here today, despite being his first event. So look for him to be moving up the field in future rounds here of the ACC Championship. Derek Rudder just going wide through the post. Not seen much of Derek Rudder today, seemingly having some trouble with the setup of the car. 911 is known for being quite floaty by some drivers with the chassis layout. Good to see the Drift Dream driver running still in 15th. Khalil Boudou running down in 14th. Good pace from him last weekend and earlier this race, but just a bit unlucky with the spins. Looking to tidy that up for the next round. Kurt Linton in 13th position at the moment. Last lap of a 47.9, so wonder if he has gone off somewhere and lost some time. Charlie Martin running in 10th in the 45s at the moment. So we're having some server issues bringing the stream to you here. Working hard to clean the stream up for you, ladies and gentlemen watching. We'll make some changes and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We are live again here for round 2 of the CSM Track Club round of Kyalami, brought to you by Turn 1. Wilhelm Weirick is in 3rd at the moment. Svensson has come up behind Jelani Patterson after serving that 5-second penalty. So it's turn one from Vinci again. 6 tenths between the front two, with Patterson a second and a half behind Vyrick in the battle for P3. So Charlie Martin here seen with blue flags trying to get out of the way of teammate Sandberg and Olivier. No team tactics by holding other drivers up. Very fair racing here today. Experienced drivers of Sandberg and Charlie Martin, don't forget, as they have all competed in the Nürburgring 24-hour this year. And that gap still very, very close between Oliver and Sandberg, with just about 13 minutes of this race left here today. Olivier already picking up a point for pole position and currently a point for fastest lap. Just about 2 tenths ahead of Vyrick, who is in third on track, but for that fastest lap shootout. Jelani Patterson, 24.3 on the last lap, so maybe just looking to settle into a rhythm to finish the race in his first outing here, the ACC Championship. Benson running in the mid-42s after that pit stop, so very, very consistent from him today. Unfortunate with the 5-second penalty, he could have been potentially in fourth, taking a fight back to Vyrick. And the Boodoo pair running 6th and 7th, both running in the 42s, nicely comfortable. Remember at the beginning of the race I said watch out for the front yard drivers as they'll be making strides through the grid after pit stops. It started just outside the top 10 and they're running currently in 6th and 7th. Good showing from the pair of Astons there today. Chris Corbin and Jeremy Gonzalez ahead of Charlie Martin at the moment, apex pair. Both now running in the 42s. Jeremy Gonzalez running in the high 41s now, as he complained with the balance of the car at the end of last race. Same thing happening again here today. So they'll be looking during the week to finalize setup for next race weekend to bring some of that pace back in. Charlie Martin's last lap was a 46.5. So maybe that's having a bit of battle with the tyres. But running comfortably in 10th. Good strong showing from her today. Simon Capelli has closed the gap onto the back of Kevin John Manning. Remember, Kevin has a 5-second penalty to serve. That will drop him behind Simon Capelli. Blue flags being shown there for Simon to let Fenton through. Kurt Linton running in 13th at the moment. VR name, that VR symbol next to his name shows he's running in VR mode here today with a headset. Back up front with the leading pair of Sandberg and Olivier. I get the feeling that this is going to boil down to a last lap lunge into potentially Loca or Crocodile curve. Something has to give at some point, and Sandberg goes very wide on Crocodile. Slight servolity there, but we have pair separated by just a handful of tenths. Sandberg going very defensive. Oliver will be looking to do the switchback. Goes into the side of him there. It's race getting quite physical between the front two. Still fair, but racing each other quite hard on the run through barbecue now. Sorry, that was the run through final corner, Ingve. Wilhelm Weyrich is in third, provided no other issues from him. That looks like that is where he will finish. Some traffic up ahead. Nose to tail again from the front two of Sandberg and Olivier. We're going to do another quick refresh of the stream to get it back for you watching at home. Back live again. Weyrich going down the inside of Charlie Martin. So it seems like Olivier has dropped off the back of Oscar Sandberg and is in now the clutches of Wilhelm Weyrich. Not sure if he had a collision with a back marker or with Sandberg himself. So still in second for Dominic Olivier. Unfortunately, we missed that in the break with the stream. Blue flags being shown for Khalil Boudou up ahead of Olivier there. So Olivier will be even more looking for a fastest lap now to break out of clutches of Wilhelm Weyrich. Slow last lap from Weyrich as well in the 44.3s. Just over 5 minutes left of the race to go. The run through barbecue now on the approach to the S's. Wonder if Olivier is having some damage on his car from that apparent drop back from Sandberg. He's dropped into the clutches of Weyrich, and Weyrich is staying with him. Some brake balance changes on the wheel for Weyrich. Early gear change at exit just to settle the car. Pushing back through. Lots of corrections from Weyrich on the wheel. Olivier with a 42.0 on that last lap around, so still on the pace. Hopefully not too distracted, having Wilhelm Weyrich breathing on his neck. Weyrich having a little bit of a sniff. We're with a 41.5 on that last lap, so half a second quicker than Oliveira on that last circuit around. I reckon with the remaining time on the clock, we have a chance for 2 more laps. Very, very brave on the brakes there from Weirich, closing that gap up to the back of Oliveira through Clubhouse on the way into the S's. Having another look, going for a later apex through Leocup. Remember from earlier in the race, the Bentleys are very quick in the speed trap compared to other cars. So Willem Weirich looking for a different way around the Crocodile corner compared to Oliveira up ahead. Usual lines from the German driver. Last lap of a 42.1 from Weirich. 2.5 minutes left of play here today at Kyalami circuit. Track temperature has dropped off slightly. Just bumps in that sausage curve, and you can see how detrimental it is if you hit those yellow colored sausage curves on the entry. And then switch back through into Clubhouse Bend now. Both drivers running wide on the exit, just dipping a wheel off into the gravel. Sandberg has checked out up ahead with Oliveira's mistake, looking to clinch another win in the ACC championship here today. He took P1 last week at Nürburgring. He's currently running in first place, going through Crocodile, while the others are on the way into Crocodile now. So probably about 7 or 8 seconds difference between first and second at the moment. Good recovery drive from Willem Weirich after being taken up on the opening lap.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
This is the final lap now. So we'll stick with this fight for the podium spot of second and third here now with Weirich and Oliveira on the final lap of Kyalami Grand Prix circuit. Weirich using a lot more entry curve on a different line compared to Oliveira. But maybe he's forced to do that with the chassis layout of the front engine Continental GT3. It's running slightly wide on the exit there. A drive-through penalty for Willem Weirich. I wonder where that penalty has come from. It looks like a track limit warning for Willem Weirich, so unfortunate to have a drive-through penalty on the last lap. Bouncing over the curb there as well through the S's. So it looks like Oliveira will be getting second place here at Kyalami, with Weirich potentially losing the podium spot with that drive-through penalty. Unfortunate to see that from the turn 1 driver. So that is Sandberg coming through Cheetah now, making his way through the final corner to take the checkered flag. And that is your first place finisher here at the Kyalami Circuit ACC Championship Round 2, brought to you by Turn 1, Oscar Sandberg, followed by Dominic Oliveira from Vinci Boys. St. Vincent driver having a strong finish here in second after taking the fight to Sandberg. Weirich just serving his penalty on the last lap. It's going to be nip and tuck between him and Patterson, but it looks like he will be able to get P3. And it looks like another penalty of 30 seconds added, maybe for speeding in the pit lane. Surely that is going to give P3 to Gianni Patterson from St. Vincent. And Svensson takes the 5th spot on track, but this is yet to be updated after penalties. The voodoo pair of Omar and Jamal coming in 6th and 7th for front yard racing. And a slightly disappointing showing from Apex Fever of Corbin and Gonzalez here today after their strong showing last weekend at Nürburgring. Charlie Martin bringing up 10th spot on the way through Clubhouse Bend at the moment, but 10th spot for Charlie Martin. The gap between Sandberg and Oliver at the end was 11 seconds, and confirmation of that penalty or where it drops him down to 5th. So Gianni Patterson indeed gets 3rd place for Vitsi Boys with a 2nd and 3rd finish for the pair. So Sandberg coming back into the pit lane for Park for me. So stay tuned. We'll try and get some interviews with the podium finishers here today to wrap up our round 2 of the Caribbean ACC Championship of Kyalami GP, brought to you by Turn 1. All the drivers making their way back to pit lane for Park from A. Some battle damage there shown on Sandberg's car after some door-to-door action with Oliver. Svensson making his way back to pit lane also. So Kurt Linton and Simon Capelli. Well, Capelli indeed taking that 11th spot after Kevin serving his penalty and also getting ahead of Kurt Linton. So decent showing for Simon Capelli in his first event, the Italian driver. Just 2/10 off his best lap on that last lap through the circuit. So the drivers below 10th still being consistent pace throughout their race relative to their best lap. So they'll be ones to watch as they get through the upcoming rounds. Confirmation of your results there. Sandberg from Oliver from Patterson is your podium, with Svensson just getting that 4th spot over Vyrick after that last minute penalty. Yep.
I was about to ask if anybody knows what happened in the beginning, because all of a sudden I ended up backwards with damage to the back of the car.
Yeah, I was in a sandwich.
Yeah, Jeremy, you got hit by Svensson.
Actually,
No.
The green Bentley, one of the green Bentleys.
yeah,
Right.
he was
'Cause
trying.
I heard we were 3 wide and I was trying to leave space for everybody, and then all of a sudden I was backwards.
It was, that one honestly was just a racing incident, looking back at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're live with all the drivers here in Park for May of the ACC round 2 here at Kyalami, powered by Turn 1. Just going to have a quick word with the top 3 finishers. So Jelani Patterson, first race here with the CSM Track Club. Good showing from him, running in the 42s throughout the race. Just tell us of your run behind Oliver on the opening stint.
Well, first thing was to try and maintain the position, which didn't work out too well. Trying to give my team as much space as possible coming out of turn 1. And then I was in a Bentley sandwich. And next thing I know, I'm seeing cars spinning left, right, and center. But after that, I just kept my head down and was trying to remain consistent throughout the race. And I'm really, really happy with third place.
Good to see the Vinci Boys pair running in second and third. So switching over to Dominic Olivier, making a fighting start. First of all, a 0.4 fastest lap, point for pole position, and second place. Talk us through your race after what happened last week in Nürburgring here to show good pace in qualifying.
Last week, I was a bit unprepared. It was a balance of power on the cars that I didn't know about beforehand, and I chose to drive the car that was the most handful. So it was really tough to drive with that, and then there were a lot of little things that I didn't know about the sim, where you can gain time and gain speed, fuel loads and tires and etc. So I spent the time this week doing some practice and choosing wisely, and yeah, it all came together. It was a lot more competitive this time.
Good showing from the St. Vincent pair. Now, moving over to Oscar Sandberg. You had to get very defensive going into turn one after Oliver made a move up the inside, and then you took it back through sweep going into barbecue. So let's take us through that move for first place.
You could say, thank you for a very good fight with the Lamborghini Oliveira. Was hard but fair, I think, most of the time. Some dive bombs, but I think that have other issues because of that, but that doesn't matter. I think I had the same problem. The winning move, you can say, was a little strange, you can say. We come down, I have the slipstream on him down to the turn one, and then I tried to trick him in to go in on the left side. And I then go out, pick up some speed and going in, and I see that he go off track. And I try to use as less as possible out, because maybe he come in, and we have a small touch or a big touch, I'm not sure. At least my steering wheel was not straight anymore, at least. But yeah, it went good for me, and maybe not so good for him. And from there on was theoretically just to control the speed and just take it easy home.
So there you have it from our podium finishers here at Kyalami GP, the round 2 of the ACC Championship run by CSM Track Club, brought to you by Turn 1. Stay tuned for round 3.